Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the plane. On the data to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Working the two on the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Never done, round, perfect rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up, everybody? It is Sweep the League. It is a Tuesday night delight edition of Sweep the League. We've got a lot to get into. It's going to be myself. It's going to be the Hall of Famer going into UTSA's Hall of Fame this weekend. It is going to be Derek Gervin. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to recap a little bit of what happened over this weekend. As you all know, we were out at Big Texas Comic Con this weekend. Do a little bit of recap of that, but we got a ton of NFL news. You have Jerry Jones going Jera on some radio guys. You have the trades that happened today. 3 of them. You had Cam Akers being traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, the 2 big ones, Amari Cooper is now part of the Buffalo Bills. Devontae Adams goes to the New York Jets after we screamed about Devontae going to New York, and it should not happen, but it did. So we're going to get into that. Plus, we'll get into some NFL coverage. If we have time, we'll get into some NCAA football coverage, and we got an NBA preview show coming up here pretty soon. Season's right around the corner. As similar as what we did to the NFL preview show, we're going to do the same thing with the NBA. We're going to break down the entire league, give you our picks on who's going to make the NBA Finals, and ultimately lift that Larry O'Brien trophy. But speaking of winners, let's bring on the Hall of Famer himself, Derek Gervin, going into UTSA's Hall of Fame this weekend. Derek, it's Tuesday, man. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm surviving. Another day dealing with the world, but I'm good. I'm ready. 3 days to go, and I keep getting more nervous by the day. So yeah. I guess that's a good kind of nervousness. So all is well.
Friday's coming up pretty fast, man, pretty fast. And I'm shocked. Look who we have on the stream with us tonight. And I bet you he gives me a lot of crap because he is in a circle, but nobody backs Coach Gio in a circle. But look at him. He's got it even set up now where he's in the middle. Look at this guy. Look at this.
I think that was, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just in the middle of my camera. Maybe that's,
I don't know, but you're directly in the middle, man. You're looking good there. Welcome back, man.
Well, I've been here. I was going to come on yesterday, but we didn't have a show, Rudy.
I never got the text back, but, you know, as it is, Monday night's my bowling night, man.
No, I know that already.
Now it's got to be basketball night because if I'm supposed to be helping coach my daughter's school, so I'd be back in the coaching box as an assistant, not as a head coach. I can't do head coach.
So were you Dick Weber, Pete Weber yesterday, Marshall Holman, Earl Anthony? What did your game look like?
I'll be honest. My scores, I can give you my scores. I shot 184 to start. And in fact, earlier the day I had to do a post bowl, which we bowl ahead of time for another league, and I did terrible in that league. I suck in that league for whatever reason. But last night I shot 184, 290, 235, I believe. So I had a 290 in there, almost 300, but no, couldn't quite finish there.
That's a
Couldn't.
successful night.
Yeah, so I don't know if I was Pete Weber or any of those guys. I was
They have off
RCJ.
nut games too, man. Sometimes the lanes just don't agree with people, and want the lane number 9 can go be smooth and great for you. Then everybody's struggling lane number 10. So
Yeah, I have to say it is what it is, man. I got nervous. I was thinking, what would Gio do in this situation here? And well, Gio would not disappoint the crowd. He would shoot 300. I only came up with 290. So
Of course, you got to show the people what they want. You come to a game, you pay all the money. Don't be like Nick Sirianni now.
oh my god, Nick Sirianni. Oh man, this is why you listen to Sweep the League. And before we get into NFL talk, just a heads up, man. We appreciate every single one of you that became a subscriber, and it was over the weekend. We went into Saturday morning Big Texas Comic Con, which a success. We were kind of handicapped in a way a little bit, but we made it work, and it was a success. I'll be honest, it was great success for us. We went from 609 on the subscribe list to right now, looking at it, we're at 930 subscribers, 70 away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The fastest, one of the fastest growing podcasts in San Antonio. So I appreciate everybody that subscribed. We are giving away a lot of stuff coming up this week. So for those of y'all that did subscribe, be on the lookout. We're going to contact some of you guys here that were new subscribers. So be sure to be on the lookout. We appreciate the success, man. Derek, you did a great job interviewing everybody out there, man. The videos are on YouTube and they're going crazy.
I looked at them today, man. Actually, I had fun. That's the main thing. I don't know how great I did, but I know the people were very receptive, and they showed us love. So when you get 300 subscribers in one day, I mean, hey, we did a good job. Now we just continue to move forward from there. Keep pushing.
Yeah, shout out to Jacob Eric. He was helping us on Saturday too. Appreciate all the help he provided with us. He even did a couple of interviews himself. The guy has a little future in broadcasting if he wants it. Appreciate him. Tar Heels do not suck. They don't suck at all. No, definitely not. A couple days left, yeah, for the big day Hall of Fame. Couple days left. Preview for college basketball too. We'll probably preview college basketball as well. Right now we're getting a date set for the NBA, but we'll get a date for college basketball too as well. I'm working on a guy to come on for college basketball talk. He basically covers the Big East, so we'll see if we can get him on here, Tim.
Hey Rudy, can I give a quick shout out? Since Tim mentioned that, I want to give a shout out to UTSA. I haven't met the new coach yet, Coach Clounch. So they sent me something yesterday. They're actually going to want me to come out and talk to their players. They're in Southern California. They play USC tomorrow. And then
Eric, maybe you can go talk to the football team too.
Well, hey, Gio, honestly, I was supposed to get on Jeff Traylor's show last week, but I had to tell them, can we do it another day because we had Speedy Claxton on the show. So we rescheduled. But I would like to talk to them, man, because after that Rice game, a few words of encouragement can go a long way.
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely a lot of encouragement, man. That the program's just not what it is. And actually, at the end of that game, there was a brawl, if I'm not mistaken, between Rice and UTSA. There was an announcement today that Lisa Campos was going to basically reprimand. They were taking care of it in-house, so they were going to reprimand a lot of the people that were involved. But not a good look for UTSA right now. Definitely.
I think Jeff is probably – I assume he's going to be leaving.
Well, I don't know. I mean –
what is there else to do here? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just saying, like,
no, I mean, I'm not saying you're going to be mean, but I mean, do you really stay and rebuild? I mean, that's
I think he's moving on. I'm with Gio, and I think he's moving on to greener pastures. And I mean, he did a lot. You look at what Coach Coker did when he came here. And then we get Jeff Traylor. I think he's been an outstanding coach. And there's only so much you can do at the same, at a program, and then sometime it's time for a change. And I'm hoping he stays, but if he were to leave and go somewhere else, there's a lot of vacancies going to come open. And I want him to do well, whether it's UTSA or somewhere else. I want him to continue to grow, and I could see him leaving. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just being honest about it.
What's the big Power 5 school maybe looking?
It just might not even be a Power 5, but I think it would be. But at the end of this season, Rudy, you got to remember there's going to be some more of these coaches that are going to be fired. I hate to say that, but it's true. And then you're going to have some that are going to be leaving. Like I think Dion's gone after this year.
I was just going to say.
Yeah,
that.
So they're going to be some places that are going to be come open coaching positions, and I think Jeff Traylor's name is on the list for guys who are looking to move up and do a little better, and I wish him well. But right now, he's still a UTSA coach. But you know how it's a business, man. You get a right offer, and then you go somewhere else, and I can see that happening this year.
Well, how about North Carolina, Rudy? I mean, Mac Brown's pretty much done.
I wouldn't mind Jeff Traylor in North Carolina. I would openly welcome that. I mean, 100% I would. There would be no.
We talked about there's other schools. Oklahoma's not exactly living up to expectations, so there are several schools. It's going to be some availability out there.
Speaking of Oklahoma, we talked about it, Rudy. They can't score points, and they really did not score any points against Texas.
That was that kind of proved I hope it proved to you and a lot of people that that's the reason why I picked Texas to win the national championship. I mean, they're just too good on both sides of the ball. The test is this weekend. I'm not gonna lie, the test is this weekend.
Oklahoma, we knew going in that they just can't score enough points. I mean, their defense is fine. The problem is defense on the field too long. You're going to give up points. That game in the first half was okay, but the second quarter was just Texas scored, I think 21 points in one quarter, and Oklahoma just could never rebound. But no, Texas, much better team at this point.
Well, we're not going to preview the game today, but I mean, how concerned are you going in Texas and Georgia this weekend?
Georgia, they put up a bunch of points against Mississippi State. I felt like that was more in the second half. Georgia's defense has just not been particularly good for most of the year. I know we played well against Kentucky, but Alabama was bad for the most part. And then Mississippi was, in the second half, put up a bunch of points, made that game a little bit closer than what it should have. I'm not really sure what to make of this team. This team doesn't seem focused. They got some injuries, obviously, on the offensive line and in the secondary. But I got to see something from them, man, because I just don't see the edge that I've seen. But it's hard. When you keep graduating players every year and guys leave to the NFL early, it's hard to reload every year. You can keep bringing guys in, but it's just time after time, guys are leaving, and the guys get suspended. Georgia's known for that. It seems like every week there's some guy in the news for speeding. So right. I'm not really sure what this team going to look like against Texas.
You don't think Kirby's going to have them ready though for this game? Because a lot of this season, their season basically is on the line. This game, and I know if they lose, they only have 2 losses, but I think
Kirby's.
I mean, we've seen a shakeup with them in Alabama. We did, a lot of people didn't think Alabama could lose. I like Texas. I've liked them all season, but sometimes you can get a little overconfident, I'll say. And Texas has had some games. They didn't look really great. They were the better team on the field. So they won the game going into the game, but they kind of struggled. I think Georgia's going to be ready. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're going to put it all on the line.
Ready. The offense is starting slow, Derek. It's a lot of slow starts. Not seeing, and I don't know if this is a Mike Bobo, his offensive coordinator, or it's just personnel issue, but the offense is just starting slow. And against Alabama, it started very slow. We didn't score until basically the second half. So this is a team that needs to start fast, because you get behind 8 ball against Texas, is going to be in Austin, obviously, so it's going to be a large crowd. Georgia needs to really come out and really show up, because I just feel like they've just been kind of going through the motions. Even at Alabama playing a big game, But we did see Ole Miss lose right to LSU. We did call it. Me and Derek called it. Rudy was sipping on the Ole Miss.
Did I? I think I did. I think I did take the Tigers. Did I take the Tigers?
I swear, I thought you picked Ole
I
Miss.
probably did. Yeah, I probably did. I'm not gonna lie, I probably did.
But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure, Derek. It's I just against Mississippi State, a team you should have handled. Now, granted, Mississippi State actually played Texas pretty decent in that first half, so I guess maybe, yeah, it was but man, it was something's missing from that team.
The house make games, man. That's why they play the game. We'll see.
Yeah.
Should be a good game.
Yeah, that's why they play the games, man. It's going to be a good one in Austin, Georgia, Texas. Our college football preview is going to come down on Thursday, so we'll preview college football this week for Georgia, Texas, and all the big games coming up here pretty soon. You know, Tim was asking real quick about Coach Traylor. That FSU job might look pretty good, being it's a Power 5. I mean, it there's money behind it.
I don't see Mike Lee. I just don't.
Florida
You don't
State.
think Mike Norvell's going to be fired?
No. After
Come
what
on,
he did,
dude.
no. A lot of guys left the quarterback situation. I think he earns himself at least another
one more year.
At least one more year. I mean, just he just basically went undefeated. Now,
but what if they don't make a bowl game? That's possible, man. I mean, they'll make a bowl. You go from an undefeated year. And, you know, I understand Jordan Travis was injured. So, I mean, he didn't make the championship game. But you go from an undefeated season. You add one of the off-season's better quarterbacks, supposedly. And you can't even make a bowl game. I mean, to me, that's not worth another year. That's just my opinion. If we're calling it out, that's what I'm saying. It's not worth another year.
I think it's worth just one more year to see what he got. I mean, a transfer coming in, we'll see. But right now, as you said, it's been a disaster at quarterback. And for a team that last year, hey, undefeated, Rudy had a chance. You know, didn't get the trip to get in. And a program that, can we all say after the Georgia game, is just teams that have gone just downhill. Go Dogs.
I told you guys at the beginning of the year, I just didn't see it, man. I saw pure disaster.
Yeah, Derek called
here
it.
we are.
Derek called it. He said Florida State was
Rudy, but I do think he gets one more year. I think this is like a fluke year. They got to see, was this just a fluke year? Because they've had some things go against them, like injuries, as we said. And sometimes they want to give you one more chance because they spent a lot of money on that man. They've invested in him. And sometimes
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got to see, was this a fluke or not? Now, if
he gave him a contract extension too, Derek.
Yeah,
so I mean, I don't think you really can get rid of him right now.
Yeah, so if he were to bomb next year, then it's no ands, ifs, or buts. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of like Mike McCarthy, but we'll get to that. At some point, you just say, enough is enough.
I understand that completely. I see y'all side of the story there. I do see it. You know, new contract, you got to give him at least a couple of years. But I mean, health wise, injury wise, they didn't start the year with any injuries. I mean, if there were, they weren't significant injuries.
They got some
yeah, I mean, the mental side of things is bad. DJ, we'll call him DJU because I can't pronounce that last name. DJU, I mean, he came in as a highly touted recruit. I'm sure NIL paid him some, they paid him some good NIL money for him. But I mean, I would have thought that he would have been a lot better in that system. And we saw Jordan Travis, similar style of play, and he was successful. That's why I don't know. I mean, if they don't make a bowl game, they've got to be talking behind the scenes. Even though you pay the guy, if you don't make a bowl game, they have to be talking a little bit. I mean, there's got to be some chatter. There has to be.
Also, are they going to stay in the ACC, right? There's been some talks.
Yeah.
Are they going to try to jump ship? I mean, if they do leave the ACC, Rudy, where do they go, you think? What conference do you think Florida State ends up in?
It's
so crazy.
It's so weird because they've been in that conference for so long. I don't Are they going to the Big 12?
What about Oregon? Did you ever think you'd see Oregon and USC in the Big 10? I mean,
I don't think.
Do they go to the Pac-12? I mean, it's an idea.
Is that an upgrade?
No, well, actually, I think it would be an upgrade for them because the Pac-12 would be considered a Power 5, and they would probably be one of the better teams in the Pac-12. So they don't have to face Clemson or anybody like that.
I don't think they'll go to the SEC or Big 10. I think those schools are
are
good right now.
Good God, no.
The Big 12 is probably the other one, right? That would maybe make sense. But they would have to. I mean, they're in Florida, right? So it would. Cause think about it, UCF is in the Big 12, Rudy. So I guess it would make a lot of sense for Florida State just to stay basically there. But I guess we'll see because that's another kind of domino effect.
It is. We'll wait and see what happens with Florida State. I mean, that job could be available. I mean, Derek and Jill say no, probably another year. But I really think if they don't make a bowl game. I mean, hell, if you can't make, the Charmin Toilet Bowl game at the end of the year, then there's got to be something wrong. If you can't even get
if some of the players, sometimes it depends on too how you're dealing with the players. If the players are listening and they've been receptive to him as a coach, a lot of times those players don't leave. They don't enter the portal, and they give you another opportunity. If it's to the point where now the players have tuned him out, those are the type of things you have to look at before you remove coaches. Yeah. And I think it depends on how how receptive the players have been to him in the locker room. If they all tuned him out, of course, then he would probably get fired. But relationships matter, and I think sometimes they give you another opportunity. If you kind of reach the young people and you're making them into ready to be good citizens out there, and then you factor in the football as well. But sometimes the relationships matter that you have with the players.
Yeah, it does. And I think if we're talking jobs, I think Dion is probably the only one I can consider probably gone, and not because he's going to get fired. I think, like I said, once Shador's gone, his other son's gone, Shiloh, Travis Hunter's gone. There's no reason for Dion to stick around.
What about Lincoln?
Oh,
well, yeah, that's another domino.
Lincoln Riley. I mean, they're not exactly tearing it up.
Well, I think you get to a new conference, right? And we talked about the Big Ten, guys. It's a physical. The Pac-12 wasn't necessarily a physical conference. Though we did see Oregon obviously beat Ohio State, but I don't know about Lincoln. Does he come to the Dallas Cowboys? Because they're definitely listen. We all can agree.
Really starting those rumors.
As what, the offensive coordinator?
No, the head coach. Because I'm sorry, Mike McCarthy, you gone very, very soon, and I won't be surprised if it's literally during the season.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. Yeah. Look, hey, I'm ready. When you ready to talk some NFL, man, I'm ready.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna talk some NFL. We're gonna save the college football talk for tomorrow. Also, just a heads up, our NBA preview show is gonna be dropping pretty soon here. It's gonna be similar to our NFL preview show. We're gonna preview the entire NBA, give you our playoff teams, give you our breakdown. Spurs fans, I'm gonna give you a heads up. You probably won't like my breakdown. I'm gonna keep it real, but it's so funny, man. I saw people talking about, Austin Rivers came out and said that the Spurs are going to win the title within the next 5 years. I won't doubt that. I mean, it's possible, but it didn't say anything about this year. So everybody's saying 45 wins, 44 wins for the Spurs this year.
Wow.
Please point me in the direction of your drug dealer, because I definitely would like to
45 wins.
Yeah, I don't see it even on paper. I don't see that, but we're gonna preview the NBA for you guys here. Probably this week we'll do our NBA preview for sure. So right now we're gonna get into our NFL talk here. This is Sweep the League. It's Hall of Famer Derek Urban, Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. Shout out to everybody at Big Texas Comic Con for visiting us. We appreciate you guys visiting us at Big Texas Comic Con. Massive jump on the YouTube stream here. For subscribers, we're trying to get to 1,000. We need like 71 more subscribers, and we're at 1,000. So appreciate you guys joining in here. Louis Luna from La Cocina Taco Truck in here, Bear Down. I'm sure the Bears will come up here in just a little bit, Louis. In fact, I do promise here. One trade that we are going to mention before we get into the bigger trades, the Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings did make a deal today, sending Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings. Basically, it's just, kind of, I guess, it's a crowded backfield. Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, Darius is there as well. So, I mean, kind of getting rid of some weight in the backfield for Houston Texans. Cam Akers is gone to the Minnesota Vikings. Does make a little sense. Aaron Jones can be a little injury prone. Ty Chandler's there. But also, Cam Chandler, former Los Angeles Ram, of course, Gio's favorite team, which is not doing very well this year. He's now a Minnesota Viking. So we're just bringing that up here. But before we get into the big news, which is the trades, I want to bring in our boy, Jerry Jones, man. Today on the 105.3 The Fan, he decides to go off because the hosts of the radio show are basically asking him about the troubles the Cowboys are having, yada, yada. You can go back, listen to the interview. You can find it on X everywhere, obviously. But I think Jerry hit a breaking point because as media guys, as reporters, as host of a show, and he said, I basically pay these guys to ask the questions. They're supposed to, I don't give a damn. And that's probably a good reason, Derek, why maybe it's a good thing I don't cover the Spurs, because I would probably ask those stupid questions at a press conference. And I know for a fact a lot of, coaches and a lot of people don't want people asking certain questions. And I get it. But I mean, you're not doing your job if you don't ask the hard questions, especially if you're the owner of a team that is America's team that hasn't seen success since Gio was like 5 years old. And, you keep putting a product out there and you keep basically what you're doing, Derek, is you're putting a cutout of a Lamborghini every single year and saying, we are ready to roll. Once the season starts, someone farts in the wind and the Lamborghini cutout falls over and you realize it's not real. It's not a real car. It's to the point where fans are getting frustrated. People in media are getting frustrated. Now you see Jerry get frustrated. Is it right or wrong for Jerry Jones to take it out on the media now because he's just a whack job of a damn GM?
It's wrong. And that's what I was going to say, that the guy, he's the owner, but he's also the general manager. That was a question that you would ask any other general manager who's continues to struggle. It puts an unfinished product, I'll say, out on the field. There's a lot of expectations when you have the name, the America's team. And the guy was just doing his job, man. And the guy actually handled it very well, like a professional. Because he could have got heated himself about that. Just the fact that Jerry was talking down to him. And then to say, I'll have someone else come in and interview me. And he was basically threatening the guy's job. And that's the biggest issue I had, man. I thought that was very unprofessional. But if you also remember, he tried to have Goodell exited out. If you remember that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Roger Goodell went against Jerry Jones and spoke up, basically. He wanted him, the other owners, to get on board to remove him as the commissioner. And so we've seen it again now. Now he's got the general manager hat on, and he got offended. The guy asked a professional question. I thought it was a very good question, and Jerry came unhinged unnecessarily because it's his fault that what we're watching right now, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. And it's not the reporter's fault, and I thought it was very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional, Gio.
Typical Jerry. Typical, not surprised he would do this. But to do this on the radio, basically saying if you don't ask better questions, you're going to lose your job. And to Derek's point, I thought the guy handled it very well, because if he could have called somebody else, Derek, who's from a different demographic, Jerry would have got cursed out on live TV. I mean, it was rightly warranted, but I'm glad the guy handled himself with professional. But this is ridiculous from Jerry. Your team is pathetic. You didn't do anything in the offseason. Yes, someone needs to say something. You bring in Ezekiel Elliott as your big-time free agent acquisition? Really? And you're all in, Jerry, on what exactly? Your offensive line, it looks like a shell of itself. And you're sitting here, don't want to ask the tough questions. First of all, why do you have your own show to begin with? Like,
right.
Why is the owner? He's the only owner, probably in sports. I don't know if the Clippers owner, I know he's very fiery guy. I don't think he even has a show. Dude, get off the air, Jerry. Stop it. But it's typical Jerry Jones behavior. Typical. And I think he likes to hear that his team's in the news because I don't think he cares about winning and losing these days.
Hey, Gio, and I'm sorry, but don't you think that's never a good thing in the locker room either now, right? Because now you're going to have players on edge. And when you need to be sticking behind your players after we just saw that game against the Lions, then that was ridiculous. So now the players, they're going to be kind of sensitive now and afraid that their jobs are on the line. I just think he was totally out of pocket, man. And he needs to come on publicly and apologize, first of all, for his behavior. And he needs to apologize to that reporter. Because that's basketball. I mean, that's above the line there. That's not football. Jerry made things personal, and he needs to apologize to that man.
I completely agree. I want to hear from the coach. Why do we keep hearing from the GM, the president? It's all about Jerry. Jerry, just take a back seat. Those 3 Super Bowls you won, that's a long time ago. And to Rudy's point, yes, I was 5 years old. That's a long time ago. I'm about to be 35. I'm going to be 35 years old, Jerry. Stop it. It's just he needs to go. It's time. It's time for Jerry to step down. If not, this team and this fan base, which I like to make fun of a lot because they deserve it, there's too many of these Cowboys fans don't want to. They don't deserve that, man. They really don't.
But you're making it seem like Cowboy fans are gonna leave the Cowboys. I see it all the time. I am tired of this team. I'm tired of supporting this team. I'm tired of that. But the moment they go and they beat the Carolina Panthers, oh, the boys are back. The boys are back. We're back in playoff contention. Season's over. You know what? We screwed up. Oh, F Jerry McCarthy needs to go. Training camp rolls around and it's like, it's our year. It's our year. It's our year. I'm not saying don't support the Cowboys. You support whatever. If there anybody knows heartache, it's me as a Falcon fan. I know heartache, but I'm not turning the page on them. I need people to understand that Jerry Jones is a good owner. He's a good businessman. But as a GM, he's the worst. Absolute worst. Vice president. Anything to do with the team outside of just being the owner, he's the absolute worst. Why? Robert Kraft had input, but it was mainly Bill that did all that and the front office. Who was the owner in San Francisco during the dynasty runs? I can't remember. I mean, Carmen Policy was the general manager, but we never heard of owners in these dynasty runs, man. It was the Steelers. It was Chuck Noll. I mean, there's a reason why owners stay away from the everyday operations and just, basically run the team. I mean, if that's the case, why in the hell are you going to go out and have, all these other executives, all these other people, just call yourself everything. If you want to coach the game, coach the damn game too. I mean, if you're going to, Gio's right to your point. If you were going to have your own show, then how about you call the damn plays? Get your 89-year-old Skeletor ass out in the field and call a play.
Hey, Rudy, but if you're going to have your own show, and you can't be sensitive. It's okay to have your own show. It's like us having this show. Sometimes people aren't going to agree with the things that we say. Yeah. And that's happened before, hasn't it? And the picks that we've made or whatever. But we haven't just gone off on people because they had an opinion. And this guy didn't even give an opinion. He just asked Jerry to explain what's going on with the Cowboys, what's the problem. And when you put yourself in that seat, you have to deal with what comes with it. The guy was really a nice guy, man. When you look at it, the interview guy, they did the interview, he wasn't even a bad guy. And I could see if he was like coming at Jerry like an ass Excuse me. But he didn't do that. He just asked the question that the public wants to know. And I thought that was fair. And for Jerry to just go off like that, man, I mean, come on, Jerry. At some point, you got to step aside, man. We're tired of hearing your name anyway. Hey, Rudy, you were a big fan of Golden State when they was winning those championships, right?
Yeah.
Who's the Golden State Warriors owner?
Oh, jeez, man.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. We don't even know.
Like, yeah.
That's my point. the teams that win, we don't even know who the owners are.
I mean, unless you live in San Antonio,
do their job, and that's what Jerry needs to do.
Think about this, y'all. He fired Jimmy Johnson, a Super Bowl winning head coach, because Jimmy didn't want to give him all the credit. And okay, sure, you pulled off the trade to get Haley and you got Sanders, and I get all that. But you wasn't coaching, Jerry. You wasn't coaching the team. He fired Jimmy Johnson, a Super Bowl head coach. He fired him.
Been downhill ever since. Brought in Barry Switzer.
He did win a Super Bowl with Barry.
Yeah, but
by hook or crook.
Barry
and then
Barry
had
on
the
the
gun
Cowboys.
situation in the airport. Cowboys have been downhill ever since.
Listen, I could have won with that damn team a Super Bowl.
Right.
That team was
Right.
that defense. That defense was actually very good.
Yo, us three right here. You go ahead and do. You can be the coach. I'll do the defense or offense. Rudy, you go ahead and defense or offense. And we could have won with that team.
They had a lot of coaches. They had North Turner. Listen, they had really good assistants on that team. Barry came in and kind of just, Troy Aikman even said it. Troy didn't particularly love Barry's style. Barry was very laid back. He wasn't really getting on players, right? So Jerry could have brought anybody, and he could have brought Jeff Fisher in, and they would have won a Super Bowl. So
Jeff Fisher.
Jerry, stop it.
God.
It's time to let go. Listen, he's a great owner, profitable. It's the most profitable franchise
over $10 billion. Yeah,
in sports. Yeah. So that's great, but he ain't got no rings. So for over 20-something years. So what is it? I mean, I don't know.
It's crazy, man. We get some comments here. James Horn, appreciate you joining us, James Horn. He says Jerry needs to go. Tim's saying, James Horn is correct. Everyone's saying that on first take. Joseph Austin's in here. Appreciate you joining us, Joseph Austin. Another person that's brand new here for Sweep the League. Dallas has played the two best teams in the league, and it showed. Baltimore and Detroit. I will not disagree with that. Jerry loves being on camera. He was actually on radio today, but yeah, I mean, it was camera and radio. Joseph, support Dallas, not a thing. Yeah, don't support them. The moment they draft Taco Fall, is it not Taco Fall? What was that Taco guy? They did draft somebody that was named Taco, wasn't there?
Was it Charleston? Was it Taco Charleston?
Yeah, I think it was Taco Charleston. Super Bowl, yeah. It was mainly Brady up in New England. Brady and Belichick, definitely those two guys. Jerry focused on Arkansas basketball. Joseph's back in here. It's true. I hate to watch sometimes. I think a lot of people do. You don't see Brian Wright on camera every Spurs game. He's staying behind the scenes. So basically on the Jerry thing, I mean, if you're going to be the guy, okay, so fair enough. Can we all agree on this? If you're going to be the face of the franchise and not a player, then all criticism should be directed to you. And you should just take it. And if you get pissed off, you get pissed off. But here's the thing. If they're going to criticize you, why don't you ever defend it? When they ask you, well, why did you do this? Why did you bring this player in? How come your offense is struggling? How come your defense is struggling? Why does it? I mean, those are typical questions. If you and I, Derek, walked into UTSA's press conference after a loss and we asked Jeff Traylor, I mean, yeah, it may not be the best time to ask him, but, hey, Jeff, your defense has been really struggling the past couple of weeks. I mean, is there anything you want to change about it? I mean, do you feel like maybe mixing up the coaching a little bit, maybe do a different scheme or something, get with your defensive coordinators? Do we expect him to come after us and, be pissed off that we asked him a tough question like that?
Hey, Rudy, and I got to say, I kind of understand his frustration, but he still didn't handle it well. Because remember, it was also his birthday.
Oh, man.
And that's the worst loss they've had in 35 years at home.
Well, happy birthday, Jerry.
So I know I can understand him being frustrated about that. And then you got the fans. I believe that it sounded like there were just as many Detroit Lion fans as there were Dallas fans. Seriously.
Yeah.
And you go back and look at the game and just look back. It was a lot of Detroit fans cheering. I don't know if they became Detroit fans that day, but there were a lot of Detroit fans. So I could understand his frustration, but still, we have to be professional, just like we have to be on here. Fans aren't going to always say the things that we want to hear, and but we still have to handle it like professionals.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, man, the Drew Show. Appreciate the Drew Show joining in. It's been a while since we had him on here. Don't blaspheme the bootleggers boy. Barry Switzer, he put Oklahoma football on the map. He did put Oklahoma football on the map, but Barry Switzer went straight Steve Kerr on, the Dallas Cowboys. He got his own Jimmy's team and took him to the title. So I appreciate the Drew Show, man. Legit college coach. Hey, man. There's no doubt college coaches, but I mean, it's very rare to see a college coach go to the NFL and succeed. Nick Saban tried, failed. Pete Carroll was one, but I mean, he was an NFL coach before USC.
But you got, Rudy, it helps when you have Billy Sims and J.C. Watts and those kind of people too. Oh, yeah. So,
I mean, well, Jimmy Johnson was good. I mean,
Jimmy's one of the lone guys to come out of college and then be successful in the NFL. One of the lone guys, just like
Parcells was great too. Hey, do you think? What about Bill Parcells when he was with the Cowboys? Why did he end up leaving? Is it because Jerry the control?
Yeah, because
probably because he would have got arrested for kicking Jerry's ass.
Yeah,
him and Parcells he just got tired of Jerry. It's just too much. He's doing his own thing. He's calling press conferences. Parcells doesn't want that. He doesn't want his owner doing that.
You imagine having a press conference and you got Bill Parcells sitting at the podium and the owner's doing the talking when you're talking football instead of letting Bill Parcells do the talking. I mean, come on, man.
That's terrible, man. Appreciate the Drew Show joining in here. And yeah, Jerry Jones. I mean, you know what? It is what it is, man. You want to be the main guy. You want to talk about the game. We hear maybe 5 minutes from McCarthy. We hear 55 minutes from Jerry Jones.
We don't hear from McCarthy. That's
hardly ever.
He's the only. You know what? If you don't look up the actual video, you never really hear any sound bites. They never really show him at all.
We heard more from Jason Garrett, Mr. 8-8.
Jason Garrett. Oh my God.
Think about it. We saw Jason Garrett every week, basically talking. But now you got Mike McCarthy, who's won the Super Bowl. And why don't Jerry just come out and tell the man, thank him for his services? Because we're getting to that point. If you look at these next 7 games, will McCarthy even make it these next 7 games? So Jerry must have looked at the schedule, and that must have contributed to his frustration as well. These next 7 games are really tough.
Mm-hmm.
If they keep playing like that, Derek,
they got the 49ers next, and then I think they got the Falcons after that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you still have the Eagles, the Commanders coming up. I mean, I think the Bengals, struggling, but they're catching them at the right time. So,
Daniel Jones looked pretty good against them, Rudy.
Shut your mouth, Gio. Shut your mouth.
Couldn't even score a touchdown.
Rudy, but they are looking better. The Giants were looking like at the first week, they looked like they were going to be one of the bottom 2 teams in the league. They're going to get the Cowboys all they can handle.
Looking better and actually being better. I just they can't put up. I mean, listen, they're playing better, but I just don't. I think they're done with Daniel Jones after the season.
Well, I'm sure they're done with Daniel Jones after the season, but I'm looking at it. I mean, they're only 2 games out of first, so I mean, they're still within striking distance. They're not the Rams where they're 1-4. They're better than the Rams right now.
We did have.
Don't make excuses.
We didn't even play last week, so we get the Raiders this week. We'll see.
Jacob Eric, we need to rename Jerry Tupac. All eyes on me. He is correct, man. I'll just say this before we move on to the trades that happened today for the last part of our show here at Sweep the League. I'll say this about Jerry and the Cowboys. They've got a bye week coming up. I believe the bye week is this week for the Cowboys.
It is.
If they don't fire McCarthy or if they don't make some big drastic move, then they lose the bye week. I'm going to give them an L. They got to make something happen.
Do you think they fire him between 9 and 28th? I believe the next game is the 28th.
I'm surprised that they didn't have his stuff packed after the Lions game, to be honest with you. And Jerry still says, well, we're not going to make a change. It's not, basically, it's not the coach's fault. Well, whose fault is it? I mean, what do you want to put the fault on?
The general manager. They don't have a good roster.
They don't. And
Coach didn't pick the roster. McCarthy's only coaching with what he's been given. He didn't pick the roster. Maybe that's another reason Jerry's frustrated. He picked the roster. It wasn't Mike McCarthy.
He's the one that passed on Derrick Henry.
Okay, Dak $60 million. Is Dak looking like a $60 million quarterback?
No.
He got sacked. The offensive line? Are they looking like the greatest? I mean, come on.
I said it. You shouldn't have never. I said don't sign Dak Prescott.
You have to sign.
There
was no other quarterback, Gio.
$60 million, Rudy.
Rudy, you can pay someone else to do what Dak Prescott is doing right now for cheaper.
I will not argue that fact. I will not argue that.
You get Jameis Winston to do that. Hey, you can get Deshaun Watson to do that. Well, actually, he's probably more expensive.
Rudy,
but anyway,
Gio, I've been on your side all night till you said
no.
Damn.
No, I'm just kidding. Deshaun has been absolutely. It's been horrendous. It's been
very, very bad.
As a coach, you can't sit there, and it's not his fault. It's ownership. You can't tell your team that Deshaun gives us the best chance to win with a straight face. I will not believe. I cannot believe the coach. It's ownership.
I'm gonna let y'all discuss this one here by the Drew Show before we move on to the trade tier. If Jimmy Johnson was so goated, why did he fail as head coach and GM of the Dolphins?
Well, look, that's a good one. And he still got to the playoffs with them. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a failure. Obviously, you got Dan Marino. They ran into the buzzsaw as the Broncos.
Did they let Jimmy make the moves that he wanted to make?
I'm sure Jimmy got what he wanted.
Pretty much, I would believe, yeah.
They never really had a running game, though. Well, I don't know. It just never worked out.
That's a tough one. I mean, it is a tough. I mean, okay. So Jimmy Johnson, you can kind of go, okay, well, Jimmy Johnson is considered one of the GOATs of the NFL coaching wise. I mean, yeah, he had the dominance of, the Cowboys. But then you kind of go, is there any other coaches that had so much, were so goated that they go somewhere else and fail? I mean, Jimmy didn't have a really good Miami run. I mean, that's for sure. Anybody? I can't really think of anybody else that maybe went out. Parcells, maybe. I mean, he won with the Giants. He didn't really win with the Jets. He didn't win with the Cowboys.
Well, he did. He did get the Jets to the AFC Championship game against the Broncos with a team that was, I think they won one game the year before, maybe two, or it could have been 2 years prior that he got there. But it was a really bad Jets team. He did get them to a championship game, and the Cowboys did get to the playoffs. Unfortunately, Tony Romo's fumble.
Against Seattle.
Lost against Seattle, and I think they lost to the Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, too, in a playoff game. But yeah, he did. I mean, look, you also need the players too, man. As great of a coach Jimmy was, the Dolphins, I don't think they were nearly the level of talent that the Cowboys had. I mean, sure, you had Dan Marino and Zach Thomas and a few other, but that's pretty much it.
All the players have to be bought in. Where all the players bought in, it's only so much a coach can do. In a lot of situations, we talk about top coaches, and then it's the same with general managers. Sometimes it just doesn't work, but that doesn't, make you stop being a great coach. Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat are not winning championships in Miami, but that still doesn't make Eric Spoelstra not a great coach. Just sometimes the situation doesn't work out.
So Jimmy got to 2 divisional games and 1 wild card with the Dolphins. I mean, that's still good. Not what obviously Dan Marino wanted, but I'll
Hey,
leave
Gio,
it at that.
he did better than most people would have done in that same situation.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that hired Wanstead after a while when Jimmy
Dave
left?
Wanstead. Oh my goodness, you bringing
Parcells
up
took
names.
place. Yeah, I think that was the one
I didn't
He
heard
did.
Jeff Fisher.
they lost to the Packers. I think in that
I
one.
forgot about that. Thanks, you're showing. He did take the Patriots. I believe he told them he was leaving right before the game, which was idiotic. But yeah, he did take that team and he took the Jets to the AFC Championship. I think Bill did pretty good.
Yeah, Don Shula with the Colts and the Dolphins. So, I mean, some coaches have. Again with Jimmy's case, I don't know. I mean, I've always, it goes back to Super Bowl with Pittsburgh and Dallas. I keep making the question and comparison to if you put Neil O'Donnell on the Cowboys and you put Aikman on the Steelers, do the Cowboys still win the Super Bowl? I think so. Neil O'Donnell's. I think the Cowboys still win. And so, I mean, the lineups that the Cowboys had during the Jimmy Johnson days, I mean, they were really loaded. They were stacked. They were
Well, he
stacked
didn't
on
have
both ends of the
Devontae Adams or Amari Cooper, man.
ball. I think Jimmy was just in the right place at the right time until Jerry fired him, basically. So Tim thinks I'm wrong on everything. I appreciate that. I'm wrong on everything. Don't pay Dak. So you're right. Don't pay Dak. I mean, they're not going to pay Micah. They may as well just trade Micah away. I mean, there's no reason to pay
Rudy,
him.
you think they're going to – so tell me this, man. What do you guys think? We watched a little sideline show between Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, and then both of those guys get hurt. Man, how often does something like that happen?
Probably a little more often than we think, I would say.
Two of your main guys have
I think
a disagreement one week and they both get hurt the following week?
I mean, the timing of that definitely is not right. I don't think the timing's bad. It doesn't happen often like that, but the argument I definitely think happens a lot more. Being injured at the same time, no. I mean, that's kind of a one-off right there, kind of a fluke, man. So hell, there's talks of people were talking about Micah being traded to Detroit. And I'm like, no, you don't want that.
No.
You do not want that. Like at all. If you're Detroit, you're focused on Hendricks or you're focused on Max Crosby. Even though the Raiders said we are not trading Max Crosby for, however many first round picks. When a team says that,
but why wouldn't you want Micah?
Usually the opposite.
If you're Detroit.
Well, Max is a Detroit guy. He's from Detroit.
We're going to get Max. You watch. Rudy, what do you expect him to say publicly? After that pushing incident when he shoved the assistant coach?
Oh, he said that's the way they celebrate.
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers said the same thing. So.
I was going to say, I remember week 1 when someone pushed a certain coach to back and said, hey, we were just, that's the way we celebrate. That's the way we talk. I get it. But also the Raiders saying, well, we're not going to trade Max Crosby for nothing. Usually what Gio, you always tell us, right? Usually when something's said in the NFL, it's usually the opposite. So when the Raiders came out and said that, chances are they're taking, they're taking calls on Max Crosby and they're waiting for the right package to come along. What is up, Seth? How you doing, man? It says, what's good, fellas? Appreciate you joining in. So Jimmy doesn't get fired. The boys win one more Super Bowl. Nothing says he would have rebuild after the triplets. That is true. I mean, that is true. I will say that. I mean, because it's the Pop effect, man. I mean, Pop loses the big 3 and doesn't really have success after that. Couldn't really rebuild after that. He's got Wemby now, but it's
you
not
gotta have
any
good
better.
players. You gotta have good players, Rudy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be listen, we saw Gene Chizik at Auburn. We saw him at Iowa State. He was terrible. He goes to Auburn. Cam Newton's there. He wins a national championship. Can anyone tell me where Gene Chizik is today? Exactly. My point. So you need players. You need players. If you don't got the players, it kind of works hand in hand.
Gene Chizik, where are you, man? Give us a call.
I haven't seen Gene in a long time. I can probably Google him and see where he's at. but he did win a national championship for what it's worth.
Gene, the dancing machine.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, Drew saying the best thing Jimmy did was take the job with Fox. Yeah, I mean, definitely. He's, you know, that was probably the best move he made. He knew when to get out of coaching. He knew when to call it a quit and call it a career. So I understand that completely. Said the same. The NFL is scripted. You can't change his mind. Probably so. Broken-hearted Cowboy fan. I can definitely tell he doesn't really like the Cowboy talk that we gave here just a little while ago. But we got 2 trades that happened today we got to get into. Shout out to MCS General Contracting. Shout out to La Casina Taco Truck, Castro and Sons Solar, also Special Leaf Tea. Also, shout out to Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia. I'm going to be on the show tomorrow with him, and we're going to discuss something tomorrow after it's aired here on Sweep the League about Keldon Johnson, man. I'm going to let y'all listen to that tomorrow. We'll get into that because I brought up a point with Jeff, and we'll see if you guys agree with me on that. First trade that came, well, not the first trade, but one of the trades that came down today, Derek. It benefits you and your Buffalo Bills for the AFC side because they traded for Amari Cooper and got a 6th-round pick. In return, they also sent the 3rd-round pick and a 7th-round pick for Amari Cooper. I remember when I told you about it and you were like, they did. I said, yeah, I know I took the Jets and I took the Lions in the Super Bowl. This benefits Buffalo a whole lot, man. Like a whole lot.
I'm not going to say a whole lot. I'm going to say this, though. I want to welcome Amari. I've been a fan of his basically since he's been in the league. And we know what the Cowboys did to his confidence. So I was glad to see him get out of there. But it wasn't working in Cleveland, man. I mean, come on. He wasn't getting the looks that he got, the touches that he got at other places throughout his career. And I'm sure he understands why when you're dealing with a quarterback who has a quarterback rating of 8.3 or whatever Deshaun had. So to see him get a new look on life as far as his football game. I'm coming to Buffalo playing for Josh Allen after that big win they had last night. I think that's going to be great for the team. I think it's going to lift the guys' spirits in the locker room, and it makes them a more formidable team going down the stretch. Welcome, Amari Cooper.
Well, I know Amari was probably screaming. He's went from Deshaun Watson or Waxon, whatever you want to call him, over to Buffalo night and day. I'm pretty sure David Njoku was like, hey, can you trade me too?
Yeah, no kid. Everybody wants to be dealt from Cleveland right now. Mari going over to the Buffalo Bills. I like the deal. I mean, it gives Josh obviously a number 1 receiver there. Allows guys like Keon Coleman to grow. Shakir is going to be a little bit better. He doesn't have to be relied on so much. I mean, to me, he's a better fit than Stephon Diggs was. So I do like this deal for the Buffalo Bills. Gives them a better receiver, more veteran receiver for Josh Allen. Great deal by the Buffalo Bills. Funny, man. Drew brought up a point here, and I don't want to get into this tonight, Drew. I think we're gonna get into it tomorrow because we're gonna talk a little NBA tomorrow. But he says this. This is why he puts Pat Riley above Pop, above all coaches, because he won in LA, won in New York, and he won in Miami. Built a franchise and a culture in Miami, and he's way better than Pop is. I do like that statement, but I kind of want to get into it. I don't want to push him off to tomorrow, intentionally, but I want to wait on that comment there. I'm going to definitely remember that comment here. I have it starred, so definitely we'll get into that. But I do want to discuss that a little bit there.
Just my early thoughts. I mean, Pat also had good players. I mean, it's just Pat also had really good players. Like I said, it's like he did have Dwayne Wade, Shaq, whatever was left of him. I mean, the Knicks, he did. I mean, he didn't win a championship, but he did get to an NBA Finals with them. So, but no, I mean, I can't say no. I mean, Pat was really good.
Way better than Pop. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
I don't know about way better. Better? Okay. Way better. That's like when Robert Horry is always talking crap about the Spurs. He said, Akeem Olajuwon's 20 times better than Tim Duncan. I'm like, dude, all right, come on now.
I mean, Just for shits and giggles, is Olajuwon better than Duncan?
I think they're two very
Man.
two different type of players.
Very.
In their day. Olajuwon with the ball is an amazing player to watch. He could take you off the dribble. But Duncan was also special as well. But one's a forward, one's a center. This is just two
Depends on
different
who you
games.
talk to.
It depends on who you talk to. If you're in Houston, you might get a different answer than if you're in San Antonio. But both really good players. If you want to say Hakeem was better than Duncan, okay, sure. But to sit here and say he's 20 times better than Tim Duncan as if Tim was a slouch, no.
I give you that.
That's a tough one, Duncan and man. But yeah, we'll talk about that another day because I like Pop. I think Pat. Sometimes coaches have been fortunate, but we'll get more into it later because I think Pat Riley is a great coach, and I also think Pop is a great coach.
Was Hakeem a better score, like a flat out score than Duncan? Okay, I could definitely see that.
Not in Tim's prime.
But that's the thing. So in the primes, if you look at Hakeem's prime, he was a dog, man. But Duncan also
Tim had to share the spotlight, Gio, with a guy named David Robinson.
That's true. Hakeem did have Samson there for a little bit, and look, they did get to a finals though. Against Boston.
I'm saying Ralph, no matter how his career would have panned out, he wouldn't have been on David Robinson's level.
No. David was. I think a lot of people really undercut David's career because of, not winning a championship, and the Spurs always getting bounced out early. But David was a beast, and probably the most athletic center the NBA has ever seen. And we could talk about that another day, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah, he's up there. A couple more comments here when Jeff's coming to the show. Jeff should be back again, if not this week, next week, Tim. We had him on last week for Big Texas, so we'll definitely get him back on. Was hoping the Cowboys called him back to Dallas, but let's face it, joining the Bills might be the best move in the league. I mean, best being move in the league for him, no doubt about it. It's about Amari Cooper. And Drew says, what time is the next show? I can't miss this. I will defend my take on Pat Riley better than anybody, better than Pop. Better than Pop, rather than the doofus in Chicago, LA. What's his name? The creepy boy, Phil Jackson. So
Phil
he's saying better
win, than he did win with two teams. Actually, three. Think about this. He won with Jordan's first run. Jordan leaves, comes back, they three-peat. Wins with Shaq and Kobe, leaves, come back, and wins with Kobe again. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Well, I'm going to allow him to defend this point. So Drew, to answer your question, we are on Monday through Friday. Normally it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays we're live at 9 p.m. So we start live about 9 p.m. But tomorrow night we're going to be on at 9 p.m. as well. We're going to do a 9 p.m. tomorrow. So tomorrow, be back tomorrow, Drew. 9 p.m. We'll be live again for Sweep the League tomorrow at 9. So definitely join us. We're going to talk about that. That's a great topic there. I like that. The Lions defense, Derek. Tim's wanting to talk about the Lions defense. We got to talk. Yeah, we got to talk. I saw that comment, Gio. That's not cool at all. And then he's also and when Mr. Philosophy, Mr. Armazan went to the Knicks and tried to run a team. He burned and crashed and burned. And he did do that to the Knicks.
But we're talking about coaching here.
Well, no, because in his original comment, he did say built a franchise and a culture in Miami. So the GMing part, VP part, all that, I mean, Pat does hold that over Phil. Phil went to the Knicks and
was living in LA.
Yeah, so I mean, Drew on that one for the Pat Riley thing when it comes to Phil Jackson. I don't think the Chiefs three-peat. They brought to a killer Baltimore Ravens squad. They're not going to three-peat. The Chiefs are the worst undefeated team in the league. I mean, they've gotten lucky a lot of times this year. I'll die on that hill. Last trade we're going to get into before we end the show here is Devontae being reunited, and it feels so wrong with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Why? Nobody knows if Rodgers is going to play after this season. I mean, there you go, New York. you just screwed up even more. Now you not only got Devontae, you told the Raiders that you were going to take his full contract and pay it off. So if Rodgers is gone, what do? You got another pissed off Devontae Adams in the same situation he was in with Vegas. So Devontae, I'm glad you got paired up with Aaron. By all means, enjoy this year. Maybe Aaron comes back next year. I don't know. But this doesn't move the needle at all. All it does is it doesn't even put a Band-Aid over everything. It doesn't cover anything at all.
No, I do think offensively they're better.
How are they better if Rodgers can't get the ball out half the time with the offensive line struggling?
Well, the difference is now you have Devontae. Lazard's played well, or I want to say played well. He's actually, I believe, had the most drops in the league. You put him out there with the other kid they got on the other side. They ran the ball particularly well last night with Hall and also Allen there. I think this boosts up their offense significantly to have just him out there. Have that body out there. You got essentially two number one guys, and the running game came to life. They obviously got to protect Aaron because they still, my God, so many penalties. Man, so many penalties.
That's the problem. What they had last night, 11 for 110 yards.
It's ridiculous. The refs could have laid off on some of those. It was a lot of ticky tack stuff. But no, I think it helps significantly. Will it help your pick for the Super Bowl, Rudy? That I don't know.
No, I've kind of already come off that whole Super Bowl.
It makes them better though, Rudy. Significant. I'm with Gio.
Yeah, let me get better.
It depends on as you go down to the end of the season, mid-season, and all that. Who stays healthy? Aaron hasn't exactly looked great, but you can see his frustration as well. There's been a lot of drop passes. Even last night, he put the ball on point at the end of the game. But what did his receiver do? He fell down.
If that's Adams, he probably makes that catch, Derek.
It was just, hey, look, man, they say when it rains, it pours. Did you hear the doink a couple times when the kicker kicked the field goals?
Hey, kicker, you know what?
Was talking to us, man. Come on.
I think the kicker was point shaving. I'm going to leave it at that because.
Are you really saying that?
He missed one.
Listen.
He missed one. It looked like it was about a 15-yarder.
Yeah,
Rudy,
saw that one.
I'm telling you, as I'm watching this game, it screamed point shaving. Because just a few weeks ago, they had Dallas minus 5.5. They sent out the kicker out there.
Aubrey misses. He never misses.
He never misses,
Derek.
And
Cowboys win by 5 instead of more than 5.5. So I thought it was point shaving because I think a lot of people thought not a lot, but a good amount of the betting I saw had Jets pulling out the win. It was just kind of a weird game, but betting is here to stay. But yeah, no, I think it makes them a lot better.
So Drew's saying, and he's kind of saying what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers, 3, maybe 5 times a game, Aaron has a look on his face like I'm too old for this ass, just like Lethal Weapon. Yeah, basically that's the way he feels. I think he looks, man. You know, like Danny Glover and Lethal Weapon. He's just too old for this ass.
He looked like, to me, he looked like the other guys didn't measure up to him. And when you see them dropping some of these passes, Aaron's a diva. We all know that. And he wants players around him that he feels can get the job done on a consistent basis. And I think bringing in Devontae, who was he throwing the most touchdowns to in his entire career? Devontae Adams. So I was going to
argue that. I was going to say Jordy.
But I'm just saying, I think that makes the offense click better. Sometimes the players, Gio, tell me if you believe this, honestly. Sometimes when things aren't going well, you got a situation, you just fired the coach, right? And then you still got Aaron being the diva that he is. Sometimes players just don't go all out for you. And I'm talking like offensive line. They just don't play as hard for you, kind of like they're doing for Deshaun. I don't think Cleveland's offensive line is playing as hard as they could. They don't like Deshaun Watson. And sometimes I think that hurts the team. We just being honest. People say they go all out 100% of the time, but we know they don't. And I think now these guys have something to play for. They got a new offensive coordinator. They bring in a guy who we know has been basically an all-pro when he's at his best. And I think that lifts the spirits in the locker room. And I think it'll help the team on both sides of the ball. I think it makes the Jets a better team.
Don't you think this handicaps the Jets though?
Going to next year?
Yeah, I mean,
but they brought Devontae in to win this year, to win now. I don't think they're looking at the future. They brought him in to win this year because, like you said, we don't know if Aaron's going to be back next year.
So I guess
that's why they fired the coach after 5 games. They're trying to win this year.
So the fair question is this: can they beat Buffalo? As stand, can they beat Buffalo right now?
On any given Sunday, man. You know how this game goes.
I do think they can beat Buffalo.
Can they beat Baltimore?
Yes.
Yes, because you still believe in Lamar more than I do in the playoffs. Really.
No, I don't.
You know who Lamar is to me in the playoffs? I won't say he's at that level, but Lamar is James Harden so far in the playoffs. He still has trouble throwing through tight windows in the playoffs. He does great in the regular season, but things are different in the playoffs. And until he proves otherwise, yes, the Ravens are beatable. They brought in Derrick Henry. We all know that, but they still, man, the Ravens are one of those teams that have fallen short, just like Aaron's teams were falling short.
But I'm only asking this, like I said, for the Jets only. I mean, yeah, okay, you say they can beat Buffalo. You said they could beat Baltimore. Can they beat Houston? Defensive side, similar to the Jets, very, very physical on defense. Offensive weapons, similar to the Jets. Obviously, Rodgers is the more experienced quarterback. But can they beat a Houston team? The last one is Kansas City. I would give them the nod over Kansas City. I don't believe in Kansas City. But the 3 teams you got to look at. Can they beat a Buffalo? Can they beat Baltimore? Can they beat Houston?
The thing is that in the NFL, as Derek said, this isn't a 7 games. This is just one game.
One game knockout.
We saw the Texans get destroyed against the Vikings just a few weeks ago. So anything's possible. As long as you got Aaron Rodgers and you now got Devontae and you got what they have there, they can beat any of these teams in the AFC on any given. If there isn't a, Tom Brady, team out there or anything like that, these teams can all be beat.
Hey, Gio, he showed he still got some magic though, right? He showed
the Hail Mary,
the last play of the first half.
Oh yeah, that was nice. Still has that touch.
So he still has the touch. He can still make plays. You obviously have to protect him. The offensive line, to me, Derek, that is the big concern. Can they hold up into the playoffs? Because Smith out there holding these guys, it's just
they turn the ball. They make a lot of penalties. Yeah,
a lot of penalties. Now, granted,
I never seen so many. It's almost we know what they call it.
On every play, it
number 84, holding number 60. Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
Also, a lot of penalties too of illegal formation, right?
Like Buffalo, but Buffalo as well.
To me, what that means is, there's only obviously a certain amount of guys who could be on the line. You have to be back. That to me is what lack of focus. It's lack of, and also attention to detail. So it's a lot that goes into it. It kind of reminds me of, I think it was a Denver's coach talking about his team didn't, I guess, come in shape into camp. You need to be prepared. You need to come into camp in shape, right? Not getting into shape. You should be in shape. So these players should already know, but hey, these people are human, so.
This has to be I'm going to have to get this on a T-shirt. Happy endings are to Deshaun Watson, as is Samson's hairs to Samson. Get the man his happy endings back. I think that should be a T-shirt, man. That would be an awesome T-shirt to be wearing.
He stays away from Delilah and all these other women.
Oh man, you guys, I appreciate you guys trying to convince me that this makes them look better, but I don't know, man. I just see so many red flags on this offensive side of the ball for the Jets that adding Devontae Adams, yeah, as it looks good, it's, his favorite receiver in Green Bay, it's this and that. I just don't know if it moves the needle enough to where it's like, okay, let's get excited again. I don't see it. I can't see it at all. I mean, that's just my, and they play Pittsburgh this week in Pittsburgh.
That's
I
a
don't think
win for the Jets.
well, no, because I don't think Adams said he won't be ready till week 7.
It's still a win for the Jets.
Man, you're taking the Jets early in that game.
I told you, man. Look, I'm still not on the Justin Fields bandwagon.
Justin's going to be benched apparently. They're bringing in Russ. They're bringing in Russ.
Huh?
They're bringing in Russ this week. They're giving him first.
So he's the savior, Rudy, right? He's the savior.
I don't know. I mean,
wait a minute. So have they announced that they're going to start Russ?
Well, he's getting, so the word is that Mike Tomlin said that they are considering benching Fields and they are already giving Russell Wilson first team reps.
See, Mike Tomlin's like me. I already told you I don't believe in Russ, man. The guy, Justin Fields, what are they scoring with him? 17 points a game?
Yeah.
That's not going to, how far is that going to take you?
As long as the other team scores 16 points, pretty far. But
I saw that game. I saw some of the game, and he always wants to run. It's just not. If you're Pickens, you don't want a quarterback like that. And there's no disrespect to Justin, but he's just not. He's just not that guy. And to what Rudy said, oh, but give him this, give him that. Rudy's he's just not that guy.
No,
Caleb Williams is better than Justin Fields.
Hey, look.
Oh wow.
As Rudy wanted to make a point about who Justin
I'm not going to
played,
be on that board.
Who he play or who Caleb played. At the end of the day, he still had 4 touchdowns.
He's getting better, man.
I'm playing the card.
Hey, Rudy, I picked Caleb to win Rookie of the Year after all that talk we did about him. I did pick him to win Rookie of the Year, and I see him I see them improving. I see him improving week by week.
As long as, you know what, if he plays the Panthers and the Jaguars every single week, he will be Rookie of the Year. He might even be MVP. Who knows, man? Wait until he plays. What does he do when he plays good defenses? He struggles. I mean, we got to understand the kid has played against Carolina and he's played against Jacksonville. I mean, hell, Daniel Jones looked good in a couple of games already.
It's 2 NFL teams. Did the Panthers beat the Ravens?
What are you talking about?
Did the Carolina Panthers beat the Ravens this year? I don't remember if
I'm no comment there, but I mean, do you mean to tell me that you're judging? We're talking about Caleb Williams, man. You mean to tell me you're going with Caleb Williams as the last 2 games as being the measuring point for him?
I've seen improvement. That's all you can go by, right?
Well, the kid is improving. I will say that, but can we wait until he goes up against another good defense?
So we'll talk about this again after he pulls off his next 3 touchdowns. Maybe he might get 1 interception, but yeah, he's starting to get into the end zone, and I'm sure his coaches they're happy.
Listen, he's improving and he's winning games. I said the Bears potentially make the playoffs, and right now they're on that run. They're playing
that entire division's in the playoffs right now. Basically, the Bears are the worst team in that division at 4-2. I mean,
what's their record?
4-2.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, okay, so here we go. They're on a bye this week. They're along with the Cowboys. They're on a bye. They come back in week 7 and they play the Commanders in Washington. Now, can we say that's a true test? I will say that's a true test.
Yeah. But Gio, Rudy's talking like they're 2-4 or they're 1-5.
No, I'm not talking like they're 2-4.
They're 4-2. They didn't play.
Caleb Williams.
Wait. So are you telling me they beat Jacksonville twice and they beat Carolina twice?
No, what I'm saying is that Caleb Williams is 3-2. The first game of the season was all defense. Caleb Williams threw for 60 yards, and that was it. All the touchdowns were by the defense. So I don't give him week 1's win. Everybody was all, Caleb Williams is the first rookie to win his opening day game, his first start ever. Give me an effing break. It was the defense that won that game. He had nothing to do with that game. So to me, Caleb was 3-2. Right? He's still 3-2. He's above 500. He's above 500.
He won 60% of his games so far.
God, you guys are getting on my Caleb Williams rant here. Drew show before the end of the night here. I'm not saying the Kansas City is going to win the Super Bowl, but who is going into Arrowhead Stadium in winter in January and winning with all that weather and all the clamor and glamour with Swifty? I don't buy Kansas City. I will say at the beginning of the year, I don't buy them. I'm still not buying them. The refs won more games for the Chiefs than Patrick Mahomes has this year. Kansas better not end up with the best record, or it's tough to say it, or it's tough they go to another Super Bowl.
I say this: if they three-peat, that is going to be one of the most impressive things in this modern NFL that we've seen.
Period.
Never, yeah, it's hard, Rudy. If they find a way and they three-peat, I'm not saying Mahomes is the GOAT, but
I would almost say he would be.
No, what Tom did in his lengthy career, the longevity.
Do we really have to bring up all of Tom's stuff?
Not tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, that's too much stuff. Tom should not have been in a lot of these Super Bowls. We've made it a clear point.
Hey, listen, by hook or crook, by videotaping, whatever the case may be, Tom got there, okay?
It's fettuccine time, man.
Hey, all you got to do to beat Tom Brady is go get Eli Manning to Super Bowl your quarterback team. That is it. Quarterback Super Bowl team.
Dude, to me, don't get me started. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer. He's just not.
He's in. I mean, he's gonna be in.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk more about this tomorrow.
Go look at his stats, Derek. If you go look at his stats, he led the league in interceptions several times. No All Pros.
Well, at least he's a league
regular season, but then he wins in the playoffs.
What?
But your legacy is based more on the playoffs, isn't it?
Pretty much.
So Joe Flacco had a great playoff run. He didn't. He had an up and down season, but Joe's not going to the. I
don't know. It's kept him in the league though. How old is he now? 37.
He's the same age as Bo Nix.
He's still in the league.
Speaking of Bo Nix, he messed up my parlay thanks to Rudy.
I never told you to take him. I never told you to take Bo Nix.
Rudy, all I'm hearing is Bo Nix and Bo Nix this and then it's terrible. But,
Sorry. I mean, don't listen to me when it comes to betting. There's a reason why I got 5 jobs. I got to pay for all my gambling addiction over here. So I mean, yeah, don't take any lessons from me. We're not sponsored by DraftKings or anything. So I mean, there's a reason why, because I definitely would be costing a lot of people money here. But nonetheless, man, we're going to get into more NFL talk, obviously, throughout the week. We're going to go over what happened in week 5. We'll probably do that tomorrow is what I'm thinking. Also, we got Drew show question. Pat Riley better than Pop. And he even said that he would put Pat Riley over Phil Jackson and put him over Red Auerbach. That was one of the comments earlier that he made. So I'm going to let you and Derek kind of simmer on that for tomorrow as we talk about Pat Riley's legacy in the NBA. And if we have to really dig deep into it, maybe we can ask Pete Babcock, Derek, what he feels on this whole coaching thing. I mean, no better person to ask than 42 years in the league, Mr. Pete Babcock. So that's a very good
in the morning. I might reach out to him in the morning, man. Yeah.
So,
we'll be back tomorrow, Sith. So yeah, we're gonna get ready to close down shop, I'm sure. But yeah, tomorrow I'll reach out to Pete because that might be a good show, Rudy. Honestly.
Yeah, it says Tom Brady beat a bunch of plumbers early on.
No,
Jim Plunkett won as many Super Bowls as Eli Manning, and he's not a Hall of Fame. By God, they waited till Tom Flores is almost dead to give the man his Hall of Fame flowers. There's guys that aren't, and there's guys that are. I have no idea why, but nonetheless, it goes back to the Baseball Hall of Fame. There's guys that should be in, and then there's guys that are not in. So who knows? But nonetheless, man, we've come to the end of another Sweep the League. Appreciate everybody joining in. 50 people strong on the stream. Again, join our YouTube page to try to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 930, I believe, climbing up there. We're almost there to 1,000. Appreciate everybody that has joined us recently and that has subscribed. Everybody at Big Texas Comic Con. Appreciate the Drew Show and everybody else joining in the comments. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. to Sweep the League again. We're going to talk about Pat Riley's legacy. We're going to try to get Gio a little bit more mad on Bo Nix talk as well. And then we're also going to cover week 5. And we're also going to cover some NCAA football, make some mentions of WNBA, maybe give a little preview into the MLB, see what's going on there. But for Coach Gio, for Hall of Famer in a few days, actually a couple of days is going into the Hall of Fame, Derek Gervin. This is Rudy Campos. Until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a great night. Stay safe.
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey family.
Welcome to the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast, where spirited debates and open discussions reign supreme. Join hosts Rudy and Shemaya as they dive headfirst into the hottest topics in politics and beyond. They're all about seeking common ground without losing their passion for their perspectives. If you're ready for real talk and honest opinions, subscribe now and join the conversation.
Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting, building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Yeah. Number 30, Derek Gervin, do you feel the way? Reppin' UTSA legacy that we create. Didn't rise alone, now it's bigger than me. The whole fam roll, run the blood running deep. I wear that 30 for the squad, for the dreamers. Running uphill, but faith kept us believers. Gotta grind every minute, every play, it's a test. Chasing dreams, but success demands your very best. Dreams do come true, but they never come free. Every day the risk too, gotta hustle to be the only thing that stop me. The man in the mirror, still reppin' on the 30. UTSA, the vision clearer.
We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger.